Reddit stories from r/AskMen. How can I support my son through a tough time? Hi guys. My son is 17 and in the past 2 months has hit a number of milestones with more on the horizon. He got dumped by his first serious girlfriend. Started his first job. Got his driver's license. He's got a week left and he'll be finished high school. Next month he'll turn 18. Hopefully before Christmas he'll get a university offer in the course he wants to start next year. It's a lot for anyone to handle. He's sleeping late, not eating much. We've tried really hard not to load additional pressure. Our attitude has always been, just do your best. But I'm worried. I'm making sure to hug him, and tell him I love him, and I'm proud of him every day. He's the eldest of our 3 sons, and I dropped out when I got pregnant with him when I was 17 myself. His dad dropped out to take an apprenticeship. So neither of us have been through this experience ourselves. What more can I be doing? What should I be looking out for? He has to learn from experience now. Be there for him but make sure to let him make mistakes. Letting your children make mistakes judgment-free is so important. I most likely wouldn't be the constantly anxious adult I am today if my father didn't lash out on me for not getting perfect grades. I still did well though. Almost done my biochem undergrad. But constantly anxious because to this day I am dealing with why I was treated like a robot instead of a fallible human. Why was I given pain instead of comfort when I made mistakes? So much this. I don't put my nose into how everyone rise? They're children. Someone I know has a very smart child, study hard, so sports, hang out with friends. But is watched very closely by the parent. The child calls very often about things, like if she got B instead of A and is sad, if she has to choose between something, or report where the child is and on the bus. I understand it's scary with shit that happening but at the same time it seems like she will grow up being scared doing wrong choices if it's her own choices. OFC I want say something, I can't, I never had a child and are kind of young so what do I know XD. It's a tough age. I started university when I was 17 and the only thing I needed from my parents were a little bit of financial aid and space to feel like I was independent and starting to live my life. Of course, I told them about my courses, etc. But I also wanted to experience adulthood freedom. So I didn't really needed any emotional support per se. I think what I got back then was what I needed the most, confidence in my abilities to succeed. You look like you're doing great. Keep at it. Smiley face. This is true for me as well. My parents always kept an eye on me and stuff like that, but when I turned 17 to 18 and even 19, they were more lenient with what I did. At this point, I am 20 and I feel I am able to get along really well with my parents due to this freedom that they gave me upon starting to drive on my own. Get your husband involved with him too. Validation from fathers, especially as a son, can be extremely motivating and heartwarming. Potentially not even your husband. Children have a fuck the world attitude and a lot of times directed right at the parents. A family friend could be another choice for a father figure to validate his feelings. I think I was 30 years old when my first feeling was validated by another human. Don't wait that long. Just be there for him, all that it's temporary, we have all been through that, having the support and love of your parents helps more than it seems. Go through the same at 18, college and excessive homework, a job, depression and anxiety. I lost some friends, I was the oldest son of 3, very difficult to talk to me, my parents suffered for the helplessness of not being able to do anything, but in the end I really appreciate the love and support of my parents. Now I'm 22 and I have a happy and stable life, and I learned a lot from that experience. The best thing you can do is back off some and let him do what he needs to do. Too much support and trying help can actually be a hindrance. Just be able to provide a safety net if he falls short so he will be able to rebound. You sound like a great mom. Even though I am a bit older 23Y, our situations are so alike that it can help to understand what is going on with your son. I broke up a 3-year-long relationship, which hit pretty seriously. This is the last semester of my bachelor degree, so I had the responsibility of writing my undergraduate thesis in a second language, adding more stress, and also had to finish an internship. All of this while doing a MSc, so you can imagine the weight I had to carry while I barely had any motivation to get out of bed. The breakup happened in May, and I was feeling very lonely, because I live away from home and all my friends from uni were doing internships in another city. But my mother were there for me. And oh boy, did I need her. I was calling her every day, and some days she would be up to 4 hours trying to make me feel better. During all this process, I started missing classes and my grades took a downturn. But I was slowly and steadily getting better. It was making plans that helped me the most. Like the other guy said, we make plans with our so, and after the relationship ends we lose our idealization of the future. But my mother reminded me that next year I will have a completely different life. I can do whatever I want, and the perspective is great. I'm also applying for a PhD in foreign countries, so maybe I will have fun adventures, meet new people, continue doing what I love, etc. All of this change is daunting and requires responsibility, but with great returns. Without these changes, life would be boring. If I was your son, I would like to have my space. I don't think you should pressure him to connect immediately with you, but if you are there to talk to him, it can be a huge thing already. Besides that, I will suggest a more active thing you can do: take him to a cozy coffee house, grab a pen and paper and start planning his near future with him. Talk about the expected expenses, ask him about professional perspectives, internships, extra class activities and so on. You want to plant in his head the perspective of a new life. Don't try to overreach and tell him to do anything, he seems like a very responsible guy. You just want him to think about it. Family dinners set kids for success more than test. Stress with him the many paths in life you can take. Academia is important at this age because to get it later involves so much more effort, hardship and ultimately financial cost. Call that pressure if you will, but highlight how you have a family of 5 and you are happy. There is not one route to happiness. This is pretty anecdotal since I was in roughly the same situation 4 years ago when finishing high school, but given the fact he's the eldest and you seem to be pushing him towards university, it's probably mostly stress and anxiety your son is dealing with. How to solve this? Well, there isn't really a right answer and everyone's different, so I'm just going with what I did. After high school I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life and I sure as hell wasn't going to take on any student debt for a degree, so I just started working random minimum wage jobs, which in itself sounds kinda like a failure. Going from looking at colleges and universities to washing dishes, factory work, etc. might not be the best. However, what it did give me was a lot of experience. Dealing with customers that treat you poorly for no reason and learning to joke about how they're losers, dealing with bosses that were power-tripping, and most important of all, learning when to stand up for yourself and quit. I probably quit 5+ jobs before I finally found one I love and never want to leave. Anyways, back to my point, just make sure your son wants to go to college or university before you push him in that direction, and if he's unsure of what he wants to do or he just wants to take a year off to work and gain some life experience, it won't hurt him. It's not like the colleges and universities are going to go anywhere, plus he will be more mature when he decides to go. Seems like you're already doing a hell of a job. Sounds like it's the breakup that likely hit him the hardest, and that's just something everyone has to work through on their own. Not much to do on your part other than to just be there if he wants to talk. Just keep doing what you're doing, because it sounds like you're already being a top-notch parent. I wish you and yours all the best. When I'm just out of a relationship, I find it helps to focus on working out. It's something that will not only fill the time he used to spend with her, but during that time he's not thinking about her, or the end of school, or the scary prospect of uni and future. Like other people have said, there's really nothing you can do for him or with him. But if you can plant a seed, get him and his mates hitting the gym or going running or climbing. If he does enough exercise, he'll also be knackered and sleep better. When my first serious GF broke up with me, the best advice my dad came up with was that women, or men, whatever, are like trains. There's another on its way in a few minutes. On a serious note, focus on the positives. He's got 4 awesome years of college, parties, new friends, freedom, etc. to look forward to. He's got the freedom of a driver's license, earning money at a job to buy the things he likes, and he is on his way to being a legal adult. Also remind him that you're proud to see him on his way to accomplishing such great things. 5 years from now, he will look back and laugh. He just doesn't know it yet. Honestly, though it won't seem like it to him at the time, he's in one of the best places he can be, to be dumped. Being able to drive, and gaining a job, he likely made up a lot of future plans for he and his girlfriend. He likely thinks he didn't just lose the girl, but all the cool plans he was thinking up. However, a new job and car put him in the best position to meet other people, and keep him a bit busier than he otherwise would be. He's got to understand that while he lost the girl, he has more immediate opportunity in front than he's ever had. You might also trying to tell him to make sure he doesn't allow his ex's move the right one. He should do his best to better himself, and make her decision a mistake. That also happens to be his best option to gain her back if he so chooses. But locking yourself in a room in self-pity turns you into a loser she should dump. That last part depends a bit on his personality though. As a son raised by a do-whatever kind of parent, I'd say it would have been more helpful for my parents to give me responsibility. I appreciate the do your best attitude, but I also think setting clear tasks daily will help avoid the idle mind depression. How he handles the breakup now could really impact his future handling of similar events. So maybe have him go to the store or mow the grass or whatever. Just give him stuff to do and don't get overly touchy. Sympathy is fine, but if he's moping, tasks will help him snap out of it a bit. Strength of character isn't a birthright, it takes molding. I agree with this. My parents were the do your best type, and it just led to me feeling like nothing I did mattered that much and I didn't need to try hard. I would do okay, but would get B's in classes where I really could have gotten A's if I had applied myself more. It just didn't make sense to try since they were so easy to please that their approval became watered down and didn't really matter. Sometimes being chronically overcomplimented can be the same as never being complimented at all. Do things together that he likes. It's so easy to work yourself to the point where you end up getting less done because you consistently feel like shit and your mind is never really on your task. Having people who love you pull you away to do something fun every couple days can be a lifesaver. I think you are doing well. For my young adults, I remind them that life is hard and there are pitfalls and bad experiences are aplenty, but all are recoverable. Time is the great healer. Point out examples of other tough times he had in the past where he was crushed and point out how little they matter now. That is what these events will mean in 12, 24 and 36 months from now. A door closing just means better ones are opening. I try to emphasize excitement at the great things on the horizon instead of the dark spots in the near past. The girl, yay, that happens, and it will likely happen again. That means he is now available for the perfect one. High school ending means that small chapter is ending and the whole world is now his oyster. For me it's easy because I wish I was young and heading out into the world again. TBH, I would just recommend giving him some space and letting him enjoy his time at university. This doesn't mean leave him alone, but just don't go and treat him like a child. He's 18 and can work through his emotions and problems himself for the most part, and if he can't, he'll come to you, and you need to be supportive and help the best you can. Just stay in touch but don't smother him. Going through those things all at once can be difficult, but only one of them was bad. He can move on from his breakup and have fun at university. He needs independence while also having guidance and direction, which is difficult to provide, but what he needs to get used to life after college and have fun in the process. I imagine that it's really tough to make a change once your kid hits adolescence. I think you can set them up for success down the line by building good communication skills when they're young. Family dinners and good relationship building activities while they are growing up are crucial. The trust has to be built already. We don't know anything about your history, so there really isn't anything we can say that's going to be a magical solution. If your son has always respected and trusted you, you'll make it through. If you are suddenly attempting to have an impact, it may prove to be very difficult. No 17-year-old will open up to his parents if he doesn't have a history of doing so. Teenage angst. You hug him and you say that you love him. That is more than 99% of mothers do that, I know. Just keep doing it. It is the best way you can help him. It makes him feel good. If he is going to need help, he will ask you if your relationship is that good. You are a good mother, be proud of yourself. The best thing to do is probably ask him if there is anything you can do to help him out more. He is the only person that knows what he is dealing with. Don't push the subject if he doesn't want to talk about it, but make sure you ask questions. Don't make a big thing out of it, just ask them like you're having a normal conversation. If he isn't receptive, then tell him that you are always there for when he decides to share anything. If he does decide to talk, don't make a huge drama out of anything he says, and please don't jump in saying you're going to fix this or that. Quite often people just want to share, they don't always want someone to help. Honestly, do less. Don't abandon or neglect him, but let him struggle through a bit. The best gift you can give your kid is resilience. He needs to learn that stumbles and falls happen in life, and that he will be okay. You will love him and support him, but he can pick up and move on. I work a lot with college students, and many of them don't know how to get themselves out of a rut because they were never allowed to fail growing up. Then when inevitable failures happen, they are devastated. Do some reading on teaching resilience, it's not too late to learn. Be there for him, support him, let him know you're always there if he needs anything. But also teach him, not everything in life goes the way we want or plan, and sometimes that's okay. The goal is to always keep pushing forward and always try your best. I think your attitude is great, but you don't have to overestimate college. It's a great experience, and although he is probably nervous about it, you should have a nonchalant attitude about it, in my opinion. It's just college, most people go to college nowadays. Perhaps preparing a sort of small celebration for when he gets accepted, like a cake? He's the first in the family going to university after all. That'd be a nice gesture and way to show he's starting a new period of his life. Give him some space. Make sure he knows you're there for him, but don't push him too much. Everything will work itself out. Source: I'm 22 male who has gone through similar things recently. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more Reddit stories like this.